Hey everyone, this will be first impressions of the new cold steel O-Bokken versus an old cold steel O-Bokken. This is the new design, and by new design this one's been out a couple years already, but this here's the old design. As you can see, did not have the molded in Ito as opposed to this one, which does have it. I'm doing this because my review is of this older one, and these aren't made anymore. So I want to do a review of the newer ones. This is just going to be a first impressions and comparison. After I get some use on the new one, I will do a review on it. The older one has a slightly longer ska, as you can see. This is the old one here, that's the new one. And there is definitely some space. The new one has a slightly longer blade. As you can see, this is the new one, this is the old one. I have them like this, so that's a fair comparison. As you can see, about an inch difference. However, this old one has had the tip rounded. As you can see, I rounded the tip, and this one hasn't had that yet. So once this gets rounded, I'm sure it'll be a more fair comparison. Speaking of that, as you can see, the newer ones still have that ridiculous point. I do not think that belongs on a Bokken, so that will be rounded. And they also still have the sharp spine. And it's not sharp as into the point where it can cut easily, but this here is more easily damaged. And I'll show you what I mean by that it's easily damaged. As you can see, right on that little edge, it's already taken a little bit of damage. And now I'll show you hitting the old one right here with the new one. And as you can see, there is scuffing, but no real damage on the actual middle right there like there was on the new one. So that definitely will be sanded a little bit, not a big deal. I just usually hit that with some sandpaper to round it out, and then that usually fixes that. The tsuba are the same size, however the ska are quite a bit different. This one here is the old one, this is the new one. As you can see, this one here I ended up stippling because this was very smooth. And this is the new style. This has that mock Ito feel to it. And this here was smooth, so I stippled it. And the tennis racket tape is on the middle to not hurt a training partner. So that's definitely different. I do like how the newer one has, it's almost like a kashra on the end, but it's molded on. I do not like that it looks crooked, but it looks cool being that it has arrows on it, and the tsuba does as well. So I definitely like that. I also like that they rounded it. So as you can see, that kashra is very round. This is the old one. It's round because I rounded it, but otherwise the old one was very square. And the reason why I like the more rounded end on there is because, number one, it makes it more like a real sword. It makes it look more like a real sword. Very few kashra are completely square. And also, if you have to hold the Bokken down here like this, then you don't have any square corners digging into your hand. So I really like that. Also, if you have to strike with the kashra and you accidentally hit a training partner, this, it hurts the training partner a little bit less. But of course you should have better control than that, but if an accident does happen, this is a little bit better. On the mock Ito, they raised the sections a little bit. As you can see, it's low there and high on these ones, so you can really lock your fingers there to give you a better grip, so I like that. One thing though is that the ska on the new O-Bokken is still pretty short, in my opinion, for how long it is. Not a big deal. I just did the same thing in this one that I did in my old one, and that is I put the big tsuba stopper on here, and that's the one that they give for in front of the tsuba. This here is 3/4 of an inch, so this gives 3/4 of an inch more ska length, and then I just put a smaller one on this side. This one here doesn't match. On this one here it does. As you can see, I just so happen to have a black one for this one. For this, I didn't have that, so I just put a yellow one there. So I rounded the tip on the new O-Bokken, and there's two things I forgot to mention about the new one that's different as well. One of them being that the new one is just a tad bit heavier. The new one is 3 ounces heavier before I rounded the tip or rounded the spine. And this one here has had some sanding done on it before, so that might account for some of the weight difference, but I don't think it would account for all 3 ounces of the weight difference. The older one also flexes more, as you can see. That's how far I can flex it with just my hands over my knee. Of course, I can flex it much more on the ground. Once again, I can flex it more than with just my hands. And here's the new one. As you can see, I can't bend this one as easily over my knee. Still doesn't bend as easily. And on the floor, once again, does not bend as easily as the old one. Also, just a note, this is the edge of the new one after hitting the spine on the old one. And here's the old one after hitting the spine on the new one. So as you can see, that sharp spine will also damage the blade on other O-Bokken, or even just a regular Bokken probably. So that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing the first impressions and comparison of these two Bokken. I will definitely be doing a review on the new one when I get enough use on it. I will also be doing a video on Bokken dealing with modifications that I recommend and things that I like for my Bokken. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And I'll see you next video. See ya!